Welcome to Computics Technologies.
Previously, so far, we learned about databases and some of the database concepts, or in other words, you can say SQL concepts. We also learned the concept of SQL queries. Now, in today's video, we will learn what truly is SQL, its concepts, queries, and how to implement them. We will use mysql server and then run queries practically. So first of all, what is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. SQL is a programming language for storing and processing information in a relational database. A relational database stores information in tabular form with rows and columns representing different data attributes and the various relationships between the data values. You can use SQL statements to store, update, remove, search, and retrieve information from the database. You can also use SQL to maintain and optimize database performance. DML, Data Manipulation Language. Statements write new information or modify existing records in a relational database. For example, an application uses the insert command to store a new record in the database. DDL stands for Data Definition Language, refers to SQL commands that design the database structure. Database engineers use DDL to create and modify database objects based on the business requirements. For example, the database engineer uses the create command to create database objects such as tables, views, and indexes. DCL stands for Data Control Language. Database administrators use data control language to manage or authorize database access for other users. For example, they can use the grant command to permit certain applications to manipulate one or more tables. Now we will run queries practically. First of all, you need some server to start SQL. We have XAMPP server. Click on Start in front of Apache and MySQL and then Admin. It will open the admin panel of MySQL database. On the left, you can see already multiple databases are created. Most of them are default. Click on SQL tab here, and in here we will write our SQL queries. The very first query we will write is of create database, which is create database and then database name. Click on go here at the bottom and our command is successfully run, and you can see the database is created, and inside that you can create table and columns manually, but we will do it with SQL queries. The SQL query to create table is create table and table name, then brackets, and inside those brackets give away the column's name, their type, and whether they are primary key or unique, or you can define null or not values as well. You can see the table student is successfully created, and inside table the columns are also created. Now we will create another table with the name of subjects. The next is view. In simple words, view is creating a copy of a table for future use. To create view, you write the name of view and then the name of table of whom you want to create the view. In our case, it will be students. And now you can see view is created successfully as it has the same fields as the student table. Next is procedure. First of all, write the delimiter and then 2 slashes to start the procedure syntax. After that, write the procedure name. Then write begin to start the procedure body, and after that write whatever command you need to execute in future. For example, we write the command to fetch student ID from students. After this statement, you can write more statements if you want to show, but we will write only one, and then end the procedure with end and 2 slashes. But here you will be thinking, what is delimiter? When you are defining a stored procedure, function, trigger, or other database objects that can contain multiple SQL statements, you might need to redefine the delimiter temporarily so that the semicolons within the object's body don't terminate the creation of the object prematurely. Because when you write semicolon at the end of the statement, it will not run any other statement after that. This is where the delimiter command comes into play. By changing the delimiter to something other than a semicolon, you can include semicolons within the body of the object without confusing the SQL parser. In here, I have changed the delimiter to 2 slashes before the create procedure statement. To call the procedure, you write call and the procedure name. Next is altering or changing or modifying anything in the database. For example, if you want to add another column in the table, write older table and then table name and add column. Column name and column type. This will add the new column in the table. And now we will define the constraints. First, the foreign key constraint. First, define the table and then the name of constraint, which will be fk underscore student underscore id. And then define the column you want to use as foreign key and the reference of another table where you want to link it. Now the subject ID will work as foreign key in the students table. How to delete something, or in other words, drop something in the database. For that purpose, you will use drop statement, and it's pretty easy. You just write drop and whatever you want to drop. For example, you want to drop table, you write this. you want to drop database, you write this. Now the most important part of this video, the select statement. Select clause is used to specify the columns that you want to retrieve from a table. This example is fetching the entire data of subject table. The static means all data, but if you want to fetch one column or one row only, then write the name of that column. From is used to specify the table or tables from which you want to retrieve data. As you can see, it fetching the entire data from the subject table. For the moment, this table has only 2 columns. Now, how to use where clause with select? Where means conditions, so it will be used at the end of the statement. As if I put the condition that it fetch only that data where the subject ID is greater than 1. Now you can see it fetches the data with subject ID 2. Order by. Order by means ordering the data however you want. In this statement, I want to order the subject name in descending order. Now it is showing the data in descending order. Next is like clause, which is used to search specific patterns. Inside single quotations, write the percentage sign and name. This will search the data in subjects table where the name starts with math. Now the aggregate functions in database. We will talk about 5 of them. First is count. It is used to count the number of rows or columns in a table. The declaration is pretty like the programming languages. Function name and pass the parameter, which will be a static, and then the table name. And now it is telling us there is only 2 columns in subject table. Second is average. It will find the average of any row or column from the table, as we will find the average of subject marks. Third is sum, which will calculate the sum of values from selected columns or rows. Next is maximum, which will return the maximum value of selected columns. Last is minimum, which will return the minimum value. Now, the most important statement with the select clause is group by. In the group by statement groups rows that have the same values into summary rows. The group by statement is often used with aggregate functions count, maths, minimum, sum, average to group the result set by one or more columns. Here we are using count function to group the values by student ID. It is showing us that there are one student ID in every column. Let's take another example by finding maximum subject marks as grouping them with subject name. Joins. Inner join. An inner join returns only the rows that have matching values in both tables. The on clause is the condition. It tells the database engine how to match rows from students with rows from subjects. Our code will return the names of students and subjects where IDs will be matching from both tables. Left join. A left join returns all the records from the left table and the matching records from the right table. In this statement, the result set will include all rows from subjects. If there are matching rows in students based on the column ID condition, those rows will be included as well. If there are no matches for a particular row in students, the result will be still include that row from subjects but with null values from the columns from students. Right join. Right join returns the matching rows from the right side table. With this statement, all records from the right table subjects are returned and the matched records from the left table students are also included. If there is no match for a particular record in students, the result set will contain null values for the columns from students.